Guys, thank you for watching. We bring you an interesting episode. Some of you might be asking, why so many episodes with Donna Nolan about this subject? Well, it's because this subject is something that she takes it very much to heart because she's emotionally attached to this problem. And I made a promise that I will talk about this problem as much as necessary until we're able to do something about it, until we're able to change something about it. And let me just start it by saying that just talking about it is not enough. Donna, thank you for sitting here with us.
Thank you, Ben. How are you?
Thank you. So you guys know the history or the story about Donna losing Michael. How long ago was this, Donna?
Last month we just hit 4 years.
4 years.
4 years that Michael's gone.
And I bet it feels like it was yesterday.
Pulling up to Burger King.
You know, Donna, a lot of us say, I'm sorry for your pain. I understand what you're going through. But look, even though I've been covering this from the beginning, I'm sure that I don't know what you've been through.
No, honestly, until... And I appreciate your support, just like I appreciate so many other people's support. But until you've honestly been in the situation my family's in, you can never understand the pain. And that's what my whole fight is about. I don't want anybody to have to feel this pain, because it's a horrible pain. I've spoken to many politicians. They've watched me cry. They've sat with me, they've come to my son's functions and stuff like that, and they say, yes, I do understand it. And I know they don't, but I appreciate it. But then they turn around and they do just the opposite.
But Donna, before we get there, now let me tell you why I'm here. It's because I don't want to be in Donna's shoes. Okay? I don't want to see other people be in Donna's shoes. We need to change something. Yes, going to the events and support Donna, it's good.
Yeah.
But what we need is laws to be changed.
No, definitely need to be changed, but not changed in the way they're being changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have now raised the age. So that takes anybody from the age of 17 down, that if you commit, say, manslaughter in the second degree, when you get arrested, you go to a family court judge, and it's up to a family court judge to decide if you should now go to a regular court. But if they decide that you shouldn't go, you're charged as a minor. Well, that shouldn't be, because when you pick up that weapon of choice, whether it's a gun, a knife, whatever it may be, and you physically harm someone or you take their life, you become a man. You need to be treated like a man, not just because you're 15. Well, okay, so you're 15, so that means because you're 15 years old, you can commit any crimes that you want. This whole raise the age, we're giving these teenagers a license to kill.
But now, does the problem reside? Does it reside on those kids that decide to act like a man but pay the consequences of a child? Or is the problem on our legal system, judges? I don't want to mention police department because police department don't pass sentences.
No.
They investigate the crime. They give their findings to the prosecutor. They indict the person or don't indict the person. And sometimes even the police department is frustrated.
They get very frustrated.
With prosecutors.
I blame both. I blame, because if you have one kid who's a 15-year-old and he commits a murder or an attempted murder and he goes to court, and yet that same kid is allowed back out on the street with just a slap on the wrist to say, okay, well, we're going to go through the court proceedings, then his friends all see it and they say, well, listen, he did it, so you know what, I'm going to do it too. Then I blame the legal system. Police are doing their jobs. You know, they're out there, like you said, they investigate, they present their evidence to the DAs, the DAs give them their warrants, okay, you have the right to arrest, they arrest them, they take them in, but then we have our judges that want to negotiate, and they let them back out on the street. So it is very frustrating for the police department.
Judges and prosecutors.
Judges, prosecutors, not all prosecutors. Some prosecutors, they're like, okay, I'm doing my best, and I'm saying no, I want him held on $50,000 bail, and the judge is saying, okay, well, I'm going to let him out on his own recognizance, and he'll come back. Yeah. Okay.
Well, let me just take this opportunity to clear things up, Donna. When we talk about some people that are doing bad in certain organizations, we don't mean that everyone in that organization is bad.
Not everyone.
We talk about specifically about those we feel are doing wrong within the organization.
Within the organization, absolutely.
They don't represent the entire organization.
No.
So let's make it clear. When I talk about prosecutors, I'm talking about those that are lenient into crimes and that are negotiating with judges about certain crimes, especially violent crimes.
Violent crimes.
Was it last week that a judge, where was it, in Brooklyn? Or
Well, this kind of actually got to me when I opened up the paper and I see children shooting children. That's the headlines. That's sad. This 14-year-old boy just started his freshman year in high school. Phenomenal basketball player, was on the JV team, was being able to practice with the varsity, loved playing basketball. He had a 9 o'clock curfew. He went downstairs to play basketball, and 8 o'clock he was shot dead by a stray bullet. Why? Because another 15, 16-year-old was aiming for someone else, but not a good shooter. So this little boy is dead now. He's dead. When we get his killer, when his killer is arrested, because he's underage, we're going to treat him like a minor? It's insane. The judge,
And let me just mention something here. And guys, keep in mind that bullets have no names on it.
No.
It's not like bullet is meant for person A and it will hit person A. It will hit whatever is around.
Whoever's around. Exactly. Bullets don't have a name. So it's not like when the killer puts the bullet in, it says, okay, we'll go after Tommy because Tommy's right there, and the bullet will go, okay, I'm going to go after Tommy. That bullet's going after who's ever in its direction. Just like you said.
So anyone can become a victim.
Anyone.
You could be driving by and become a victim.
That's been perfectly clear. Look at Shamoya in Mount Vernon. She was sitting in the
covered
back seat of her mother's car at a light.
Was that Christmas Day, New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve.
It was New Year's Eve.
And what was she doing? Shamoya was just sitting. Another one just finished basketball practice. This judge.
What's her name?
I got to see her name. I should know it by heart. Where is she? Sherry Michaels.
Sherry Michaels.
Sherry Michaels had 2 known repeat offenders come into her courtroom for shootouts in the Bronx. And she let them go. She let them go on their own R&R. Are you kidding me? Why would you let them go? You think they're going to come back? No, it's a joke. They're laughing. They're out on the street. And you know what? They're going to be shooting again. They don't care because they've gotten away with it how many other times. Now they go up in front of her, and she goes, okay, don't worry about it. Come back to me when you honestly take someone's life.
And guys, I don't think that this has anything to do with being a liberal judge or conservative judge.
No.
I think this has a lot to do with being too relaxed, because there is no more liberal person than I am. But I strongly think that if you pull that trigger, then you should pay for the consequences of what you did. There is no plea bargain. If you're sentenced to 20 years, do the damn 20 years. If you don't want to do 20 years for murder, don't carry no gun, don't pull no trigger, don't buy no weapons. And I would go a little furthermore. If you get caught with a weapon, we talk about illegal weapons. If you get caught with a weapon and it's found that that weapon was used to commit any crime in the past,
you should be responsible.
You should be held responsible for every crime that was done with that particular weapon.
But then we've talked about that too. I mean, again, I watched Governor Cuomo last week. He was on the news and he's patting himself on the back and he's telling the federal government, you need to get on the ball and follow New York State's law. We don't have mass shootings. No,
Governor.
I beg to differ, because if you go through the statistics in the 5 boroughs, we have mass shootings every single day. Just because it doesn't happen in one specific area by one person to multiple people, it's still a mass shooting. We have a governor who in 2006 signed into law, if you get caught with an illegal gun, it's a mandatory 3.5 to 5 years. I know one person that's done that, and he's getting out 6 months earlier, and that's Garth Cole. And the only reason he got the charge that he got was because he ended up cooperating after the fact. Why isn't this governor standing up and saying to the mayor and everyone else, get on the ball. Let's start. We got to get on these judges. We have too many young people losing their lives. Why? Why isn't he not saying anything? This happens every day, and yet he says nothing. But let there be a mass shooting, and that's what bothers me too. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, because anybody that loses their life to any kind of violence is sad. Why is it when we have a mass shooting in one spot done by one person, we get protests and riots and people screaming on the top of their lungs, demanding change. Yet nobody wants to talk about the fact that we're losing young lives every day.
Now, let me use the word that you just used to move into a different subject. Not to the different subject, but to a different angle. Yes, something happens today, we get all these demonstrations, we get all these people talking, we're getting together with signs, we must do this, we must do that. Well, you have invited me in the last couple of years to go to an event in front of the City Hall, where some mothers and friends of victims show up that day. Well, the work is much deeper than show up one day, Donna.
One day, exactly.
Okay? Killings are happening every single day. Or do we think that if we show up one day, we're going to make a difference?
No, we're not. I'm telling you, as we're speaking right now, there's someone losing their life out there because of gun violence or something. And yet, the media doesn't cover it. We talked about it, and I've said it. If you take breaking news, we have 3 people just shot in Brooklyn, right? But now we got another breaking story. Oh no, we have a mass shooting, 10 people are dead, 5 others wounded, one shooter. People are gonna focus on that. They're not gonna focus, because to them, and I've heard them say it, I've heard the mayor of New York City say, this is just stray bullets, this is just street violence.
Well, the mayor of New York City can say whatever he wants. Mayor of Yonkers can say whatever he wants. But let me make it sure that the mayor of Yonkers have spoken very much against crime on the street.
Yes.
He has done whatever he can. But I'm just mention mayors in general.
Mayors in general,
Mayors
yes.
in general, they can say whatever they want. Media in general can cover whatever they want. But I can bet you, Donna, if you get 1,000 mothers to stick together and show up in front of one of the legislators' office, and next day in front of another, and another day in front of another, you will get the attention from the media.
I do have a good support group with the Forgotten Mothers. We do, and I love them all to death. And they'll email and they'll fax and they'll do this, but exactly what you said. If I go in front of a legislator's office or a senator's office, there it is. Oh, it's just Donna Nolan just, screaming and crying again.
Yep.
No, it's not Donna Nolan screaming and crying again because her son Michael's gone. But I'll be damned if I'm going to let him just be another statistic. I don't want to keep adding mothers to that group to say...
You got enough.
Enough. It's when you sit on the phone at night and you have that mother who... She don't want to do it no more. She wants to end her life. She misses her. And I get that. I still do it. There's times where I don't want to be bothered because I miss Michael so much. And then there's days like today where he'll just give me signs left and right to say, no, you have to keep going. You have to fight. You have to open your mouth. You can't be quiet. But I can't do it alone. I want to look behind me and say, yeah, we're standing here. Just like with the mass shootings. We're standing here. We want you to know we're not going away. We're going to hold you responsible for your actions. Listen, we know tomorrow's election day. Okay, for Yonkers, it's a big election because it's a mayor's election and everything else. Next November is even bigger because that's governors, that's senators, that's assembly people. Remember all of them who signed on to these bills for raise the age. Bail. Listen, I agree with bail reform to a certain extent because there are some people that are in prison and they shouldn't be there. They should be let out on bail. But when you're granting bail to downright out murderers, no, I'm sorry.
We are here talking about. No one is saying that people don't deserve bail. We're not saying that every crime is the same.
Exactly.
We are talking about a specific crime, violent crime.
Violent crimes.
Crimes that involve illegal guns. There is no justification for killing. We're not talking about putting everything in a bucket.
Yeah.
Okay, not every. But what do you say to people that are voting next year for these legislators?
Think. Use your head before you go out and vote. Remember, those people that you're going to vote for are the same people that have put these laws into effect that are going to take innocent lives. You know, they can sit there all they want and you know, oh my God, Donna, I understand. Okay, you understand, but then you leave me and you go and sign onto a bill that's going to allow this to continue to happen. So how do you understand? If you look at the statistics, we're losing by illegal guns close to 20,000 people a year. Mass shootings, we don't even lose close to 500. And again, I'm not trying to say mass shootings is not an issue. But when you look and you say 20,000 people a year to illegal guns.
Much more people than we lost in a war.
Exactly. We are in a
Is
war. And you want to know
Yeah.
something? With all these new laws going into effect, we're going to be like the wild, wild west.
Have you spoken with any of our legislators?
Um,
Can you name some?
You know what? At this point, I don't want to throw people under the bus because I look at it this way. I don't have to name your name. The simple fact is that when I say it and I get that text message or I get that phone call saying to me, oh, you're upset, then I know I hit a nerve. I've spoken.
Yeah, but you see, Donna.
No, you know what? Yeah, I've spoken.
I'm going to disagree a little bit with you. If this is not, this is serious matters.
No, you're right.
Okay,
You know
we
what?
need
Yes.
results.
Okay, so I'm going to answer your
If
question.
you keep holding those names,
I'm going to answer your question. Perfect example. Elliot Engel. I met with Elliot Engel right after Michael passed away. Sat in his office. We were going to do 900 things. Nothing. Not too long ago, my son Jimmy gets a phone call. They're going to hold Michael's picture up for the red flag law. Okay?
okay.
Now, he's in here with a woman who is on a hunger strike. She's on a hunger strike to, listen, you want to be an activist and all that, that's great. But get facts before you start doing all of that, okay? She's on a hunger strike to toughen the gun laws. We have the toughest gun laws out there. We have the toughest ones. It's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. And as long as you keep allowing them to buy them the way they buy them, they're going to keep buying them. And as long as you allow these perpetrators to keep getting away with it, it's going to happen all the time. You know what? I want Elliot Engel to stand with me and say, Donna, I get your pain, I get your frustration, and I want to help you. What can we do about illegal guns?
What about local legislators?
Local, I've spoken to Andrea Stewart-Cousins.
What has she done?
I love her to death, but I feel that by signing on to the raise the age law, no, it
Didn't help.
didn't help. You're not helping me or anyone else out there by signing on to these laws. This just gives them, again, a license to kill. That's all we're doing.
Another legislator.
Shelley I've spoke to, believe it or not, Shelley Mayer, I gotta say, Shelley's a big supporter. She doesn't agree with a lot of this stuff.
But is she doing anything to change it?
She did push for, we did get the gun buyback program. She worked very closely with my son Jimmy.
The gun
The
buyback has
she
been
did
going
that
on for some time.
For some time, it's statewide now. And Shelley, she does. What can we do? Well, there's a lot we can do.
So Shelley Myers cares about it, but the Senator, Andrea Cousin, doesn't care much.
I don't think not that she doesn't care, but I just don't
But
think.
not doing enough.
I don't think she's doing enough. I'm a little upset with her. I
know
she's
she
doing
cares,
enough.
but the thing is here, it's not do you care or you don't care.
It's you're not doing enough
No.
there's more that can be done to prevent these illegal guns from happening.
Christopher Johnson, have you spoken to him?
I've not spoken to Christopher Johnson since he became a legislator. When he was in the city, he was very much about illegal guns, but then went up to the legislator and I haven't spoken to him at all.
Now let me ask you a hypothetical question. If one of those, that tragic day when Michael was shot, if was a child, a grandchild of one of those legislators that you just mentioned, the victims of it, you think that things would still be the same as they are today?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that we would have tougher laws against illegal guns, and I think that we would be enforcing them a lot more. Again, you get caught with an illegal gun, it's a mandatory 3.5 to 5 years. If you take that one kid, because I don't want to use what I want to call them, but if you take that one kid that comes in and he got caught with an illegal gun, and if he didn't use it, and you tell him, you know what, it's your first time with an illegal gun, but guess what, you got to do 3.5 years. And not in Valhalla, make them go to state prison. Make them go to state prison. If you start making examples, you may get the rest of them out there that are going to say, you know what, I don't want to go to jail. I'm sure not every kid gets up in the morning with the intent to say, you know what, I want to go to jail. I want to carry around a weapon. I want to kill someone. But they do it. They do it.
So this is not just about our legislators here in Westchester. This goes to everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Okay?
Everywhere.
Laws need to be changed where people that commit those type of crimes are held responsible to the fullest. Okay? If they don't, then you need to vote them out. You need to vote them out. We don't want them to react only when they become a victim. They need to react even though somebody else's son is the victim.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Because remember what we said in the beginning, bullets have no names.
No, they don't.
Today, or 4 years ago, was Donna's son. Tomorrow, he can be your son.
Not even tomorrow. Could be happening
Tonight.
right now.
At
As
the end
we
of the day,
speak.
maybe the next hour.
You don't know, and that's just it. Now, before the violence was more, like you said, it was more at night. Now they're getting more brazen. It's happening during the day. We had out where that 14-year-old boy was killed on Saturday. Monday, 2 blocks away, outside of a school, there was another shooting. A 16-year-old girl. Now, everybody goes, well, yeah, she's alive. She's alive, but look how she has to live her life. She can't move. She literally, where that bullet is right by a main artery and like 2 inches from her heart. Like, this girl's life is forever changed.
So that was not long ago. I think we had a 12-year-old boy shot in Highland Avenue.
In the neck, yeah.
In the neck. God, that is no arrests made yet. So let's take this opportunity to ask the community that if you know anything about it, please call the local police department.
Somebody knows something.
Somebody knows something. You need to be part of the solution. If you know something, say something. Donna, is there anything else I need to say? Because I think we need to find a way of motivating mothers, fathers, uncles, friends, and even people that have never been. What else can we do?
I can't ask.
Go ahead.
I can't keep asking people, stand up. This is our city. Our city. I love the city of Yonkers. I love living here. I mean, I've been here all my life. I've raised my sons here. But we can't keep continuing to allow the same perpetrators back out on the streets. Listen, I know it's hard. It's hard, and it's, you want to be able to get up and you want to be able to speak about the violence and you want to take a stand, and some days it's, you just don't have it. But if we stand together as a community and we fight and we stand together and we work side by side with the police, listen, here's where a gun is, or this is what I seen, we can maybe make a difference. If we can reach one kid out there and that one kid says, you know what, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live that lifestyle. I'm turning in my gun, or I'm going to change my ways. Then yeah, we have made a difference, but I can't do it alone. I can't stand by myself fighting with everyone. I need moms, dads. Everybody thinks about how it affects just the moms. It doesn't just affect the moms, it affects the dads too.
I've spoken to Jim all the time,
Yeah.
and I see how this affects Jim, and I tell you, I must say that Jim is a strong man, Because I think if it had happened to me, I would go nuts.
You know what? There's times where, yeah.
And me going nuts, that means that it would be affecting me mentally.
Oh, believe me.
I would be having a mental illness.
Oh.
So we need to address that point. The things that happen in society that are driving parents against the wall,
Yeah.
that might do things that, even sometimes it might drive somebody to take the law into their own hands because they don't trust the freaking system.
Because they don't, and you don't. I remember when we were in court, and I remember the DA saying how this has affected 5 families. No, it didn't. It affected just mine. See, because they still get to talk to them, go visit them, write letters. You know where they are. They're better off now than they were when they were living at home. They're getting 3 meals a day. They get a bed to sleep in. We don't get any of that. I have that empty bed. The holidays come around and he's not there.
You got a life sentence, though.
That's it. So it's really just my family's life, mentally, what it's done to us. I've had my own health issues because different things. I remember when Marilyn got shot over there on Lake Avenue. And it hit me so bad because thinking this is an 18-year-old girl, this is 6:00 at night, just thinking about her mom and everything else. And the next morning I woke up, I had a mini stroke. So what it does to the victims' families mentally, that's the mental issue here.
I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, there was a case that a person who did something to a kid, I think sexually abused a child, was being transported from the place where he was captured to another state. The parent, the father, found out about it. You could see it, and I saw it on live TV. As they were bringing the suspect through the airport, you could see a man on the phone.
I remember that very well.
And that man just turned around and took justice into his own hands.
Because that's what's going to start happening with all of this that's going on now, and as families, and you're going to get that one, maybe mom or dad, or even sibling, that's going to say, I don't like the justice that they're giving. I'm going to take it into my own hands. And they are.
And then they are paying for the consequences.
Exactly. I have a mom who, her son, he was 16 years old, sincere. He went to a Sweet 16 party. Uninvited guests came. They were asked to leave. They didn't leave. They weren't leaving until they shot the place up. They shot Sincere right in his face. This was a 16-year-old boy. Shot him right in his face. The suspect was arrested. He's been in jail. He's going back and forth. He was offered a plea deal. He refused it because, in his words, he doesn't even know the blank that he shot. So now she's starting to go through the whole court proceedings. So when she goes, not only does she have to look at his face, but she has to deal with his friends, who are very well known to the system, his family, who they're giving her looks, and they're this and they're that. And what? Like, you took her son, but yet you want to try and intimidate her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's beyond imaginable. And I think that Stephanie one day is going to snap and take justice into her own hand because she's not getting it. I mean, he was off for 22 years. And again, no amount of jail time is ever going to change my situation. I mean, look, I already got the driver coming out next month. Before I know it, all those years will be coming up where they're getting out. No amount of jail time ever changes it. But to know that I got a plea deal with you, you murder my child, and yet you're going to tell me, well, I'm not doing 22 years. Like, really?
And one of these days, Donna, you're going to be driving, or your husband, or your son, and you stop at the red light. And you look across that red light, you might come face to face with one of those responsible for the shooting of your son. It's an unfair system.
It definitely is. I'm sorry, but I'm a firm. I don't believe in the death penalty because I think that's just too easy. But I definitely am a firm believer when you take someone's life with an illegal weapon and you murder them, you should get life in prison. You should not be able to get that chance to go back out into society. You should just be life in prison. That's it. They got all the perks anyway in prison. They have Skyping, they got basketball, they living better now than they did when they were out in the street. But I don't think that, Naishorn Hunter, I don't think should be out for 25 years. I think he should just face life. I think they all should face life in prison, but especially Naishorn. I think he should be facing life in prison.
Well, guys, on this note, we're going to conclude our interview for today. And we want to remind you one more time, if you have any information in regards to murder, serious violent crime, or any crime, call your local police department. Be part of the solution. When you don't give out information and you're allowing a violent person to remain on the street, you are part of the problem. So come forward, call your local police department, and get those bad elements out of the street of Yonkers or the streets of your city or any place. If you know that your child has a gun, call the police department, report that gun. There is no consequences for those that report an illegal gun, and you actually might get a prize. $500, no questions asked. Take that gun from the street. That gun that you take away from the street, you might be saving your own life. Okay, don't get too much involved with the, oh, it's my son's privacy, I cannot go through his things. Yes, you can go through his things. He lives on under your roof. Go through his things. If every parent went through his son's things, you might find a lot of things that they shouldn't have, and you might be helping saving somebody else's life. Maybe your own or the life of somebody who you know. So thank you for watching. Until next time. And if you have any story that you want to tell us, that you want to talk to us about, reach out to Yonkers Voice, yv.support@yonkersvoice.com, and you can talk to me or talk to Donna. We're open to any issues, not just gun violence, anything that might affect our community. We are here for the community. We are a voice for the community. We give you a platform where you can talk and the community will listen and offer possible solutions or help you out. Sometimes just talking might help. Until next time, Yonkers Voice, Donna Nolan. Thank you.
Thank you.